Welcome, guys, to Tyromper's podcast, episode number 15. I have just a fantastic guest on here today. I've been really excited for this one over the past week. She just got out of high school today. She's now on Christmas break. She's joining us. I'm so pumped. This is a young woman that before her 16th birthday made over $45,000 on Instagram. This is a young woman that then lost most of that $45,000, but has now since rebuilt to over $60,000 and counting by the day. This is a young woman with a network of over 100,000 followers and teammates across social media. A young woman that inspires me so much that I'm honored to call my friend. This is Miss Niti Sarran. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today. Welcome aboard.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that. And I appreciate all the kind words, really.
Oh, I mean, as a dad of like a 6-year-old, I just look at someone like you who just goes out and crushes it. You exude positivity. You're just this great human being. And I'm honored to have you on here. So for anybody who might not know you, or maybe if you give that like 2-minute elevator speech, could you just tell people a little bit about yourself, what you're about?
Yeah, so my name is Niti Sarran, and you pretty much summed it up, who I am. But I'm a young teenage entrepreneur, and I didn't start off in the space crushing it. I was, slowly building, and then like momentum builds, and I started to really experience exponential growth in my business, my online brand, and all that. But I always been a hard worker in school. I always been a hard worker, and like sort of intelligent, like been able to find my way around things and try to build. And I've always been ambitious, so I carried that over into building a business at a young age. And honestly, I enjoy connecting with people, building things I'm proud of, along with the people that I really love, and meeting people like Tyler and talking to them, having conversations with people I've never even met before. And like, Tyler, your energy is beautiful, and like this is one of the moments where I'll think back like in this whole space and be like, these are the moments that are like beautiful, as I get to like share smiles and laughs and conversations with beautiful people like you. So that's really what fulfills me and makes me happy. But building all this stuff is all the extra stuff that'll give me these experiences, if that makes sense. So
yeah, it makes a ton of sense. And can I just ask, like, I forget so often on the timeline because you share these great like wisdom. There's so much, these threads I'm reading. I'm like, this is awesome. I forget that you're 16 years old. So like, when did you kind of realize, have you always, like, take me back to your first time where you kind of had this sort of light bulb, or, can you talk to me a little about your childhood, or when did you kind of get this itch to just start, crushing it? When I was 16, I wasn't doing near anything you're doing. That's for sure.
yeah, so I mean, I feel like I was always someone who wanted to go the extra mile and do something extra. Like I'm still young, but when I was a kid, like in the middle school, like pre-K, preschool, elementary school, at first I didn't think I was a smart kid. Like I thought I was like low-key kind of reckless. Like I thought I was kind of like, because I would do my own thing when I was young. I would kind of be rebellious, like as a child. Like I would get more like disciplinaries as a child. But as I started to get older,
you were trying to bend the rules a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. And then as I started to get older, like in middle school, around junior high, I started to get like this thing called honor roll. And I was like, honor roll, I'm worthy of honor roll. I didn't, because the teacher told my mother, your daughter got really good grades and she has high first honors, like some of the top of the class. Then these teachers started to tell me, you could be valedictorian when you graduate 8th grade. You can be this, you can be that. And a whole bunch of possibilities started open for me.
Awesome.
And I'm like, wow, like I feel like I'm naturally a hard worker. I have like work ethic to the point where I could be doing so well and better than 90% of people, and I still think that I'm not doing good enough. That's the sort of mindset I feel like I was at. Like I would write essays for fun as a child after I read books that I enjoyed. Like I would like, I remember this one time I was on the phone with my dad. He was at work at night, and I was like, I'm bored. And I was like super young too, maybe 5 years old, 6, 7, no, not 5, maybe like 7, 8. And he's like, all right, go write an essay on dinosaurs or something. I went and did it, and I was just cleaning out my desk yesterday, and I have the essay still.
That's so cool. What a great dad too, to encourage that kind of, like that's really neat.
Yeah, so I've always been ambitious and hard worker. And the thing with my dad too, both my parents, they always did things that would, like, I feel like, make me think. Like whenever my dad had a surprise for me, for example, he would always spell it out. He would not tell me. He would be like if he had like, um I don't know, like a book or something to give me, he'd be like BOOK, for example, like that, like that. Like he would spell it out and I would have to guess what it is. Like small things like that, I feel like really built who I am. Like, you know. But yeah.
That's really cool. And especially like having like a 6-year-old now who, we put a lot of effort, energy, a couple 1-year-olds too. We've read, thousands of books already to you're just trying to develop that sense of curiosity and wanting him to learn. So do you credit your parents then a lot with that as you grow up, of just kind of instilling that in you?
Yes, of course. I do credit my parents a lot with what I've, done and who I've become, because I'm honestly so young right now that I wouldn't say anything else has shaped me. Obviously, other external factors and stuff, but I live in a city where there are so many people. Like, people think of this city like it's a 3 mile city. It's not much. It's like a city where kids will hang out on the streets, do drugs, and beat each other up. It's like, it's not a city. It's not like beautiful. It's not something that's like, so I do credit my parents a lot because I do well in school. I take AP honors classes and I'm building this online business. And I only surround myself with other kids who do the same thing in this city that it's hard to find too. So it's so it's like, I really appreciate my parents for um making me the sort of person I am, to only attract that sort of energy from other people as well.
So do you find that difficult? Because I found that difficult even as an adult at age 30 and 32 to try and separate myself from people who might have those limiting beliefs, or might, you might have this dream or this vision. They tell you, nah, it's too risky, don't do it. But you just kind of seem to go, push that bar always. So how do you attract other people? Is a lot through school and honors classes, or how do you kind
Yeah,
of build your network?
it's mainly through that, and it especially helped when I started to get into high school, because it's like that's when I started to have a bigger, broad and spectrum of different kids. Because in middle school, elementary, you barely have a bunch of kids that you can like relate to and stuff. But once I got into high school, there were a lot of kids with similar passions as me, like, kids talking about the stock market, kids talking about like motivation, clothing brands, things like that. And it's like, I would have never thought I'd see these sort of things in my city. So it's like that when I heard those things when I got into high school, like, I'm a junior now. I have like this year and next year left to go, and then I graduate. But when I was a freshman just starting out, like, it's crazy that I heard that sort of things. But the only way that I was able to attract those sort of people is if I'm that type of person myself. You attract what you are, right? So if I'm constantly reading, feeding my mind, I'm spiritual. If I'm happy, I'm gonna attract happy, spiritual, like, people who are constantly growing as well.
That's
Like,
right.
I'm gonna attract based off my own energy. So that's really what it is.
That's such a big takeaway for, I think, anybody listening, no matter what age, is you are going to attract. I think, for a long time for me, I struggled. I worked in a job that I necessarily didn't love. Right. And I would go in and I would complain with other people. Oh, it's only Monday. Oh, it's this or that. And then I realized that that's my environment. Then I'm creating that, around me. And so now, if you're complaining about a Monday, I'm gonna let you know about it. That's not welcome in my life. We're excited about Mondays. We're tacking them. We're going. And it sounds like
Yeah.
from a very young age, you've really developed that. And that's such a powerful thing. I hope everybody can take that away. So what do your parents say now that you're like, you're making like good money for somebody who's 40, and you're doing this at 16 and you're building a brand. And, I'm grateful to get you on here because I think in 5 years, you're gonna be taking over the world. You're going to own so much stuff that it's going to be like, I got to get through 7 people to be able to get the Nitty, So what do your parents think of all this? What does your sister think of all this stuff now that you're crushing it?
Yeah, so I appreciate that, first of all. But I feel like because my parents are immigrant parents, like, my mom's from India and my dad's from the like Caribbean area, Guyana, and they're immigrant parents, so they expect this sort of stuff, but not like to the point where when I wanted to start my business, it took a while for me to start making my first couple $100s, and it started to snowball. So I feel like because it was so gradual over the past year and a half, like, I started in 2019. So because the money was coming in so gradually, they got used to it. So it's not something that I was like, oh my God, like, I didn't expect this. Like, no, they honestly, I feel like, when you see someone every single day and you can't see them, like, I guess when you're seeing like a family member or a friend trying to lose weight and gain muscle, if you see them every day, it's gonna be hard to tell the difference unless you have like yeah. So it's like the same thing. That's the sort of like, that's the sort of scale I'm on. But overall, like, when I do ask them like for their like self-reflection and what they think of like what I do, and like not only that, but like me doing well in school, they really do praise me for it, and they appreciate like I the least I could do for them coming to this country is make them proud and get good grades and do my best, put in my best work every single day and do what makes me happy, and just lead with that,
It's so amazing. It's like the most beautiful thing I've ever heard, honestly. Like my favorite of your tweets are when you're like in the back of your class and you're like tweeting about a stock that you're trading right now or something. Like, so how do you balance and how do you do all this time management? Because I think you're coaching people now too on how to grow their brand and how to do this, right? You're also running your own business. You're also getting straight A's in AP honors classes. How are you finding time to do all this?
Yeah, I actually had this one classmate reach out to me too. She's like, I feel like you're so put together. How do you do this? But honestly, you have to realize like it comes with like iteration and like time. It takes practice. Like you're not gonna one day you're gonna say, I'm gonna do this at this hour, this at this hour, get it all done. It's not always gonna happen. And it took a while for me to have really good time management skills. But what really like did really good for me was having habits that are like put in place throughout the day. So the time in between those habits I use to either work on the business, or if I'm in school I just focus on school. So the thing is like schoolwork, studying, homework, I try to get that all done at school. There's a lot of distractions at school, but I just try to lock in and finish all my homework while I'm at school, so when I come home all I can focus on is my family, whoever I have to talk to, and my business. That's it. That's all. So I don't have to bring school home. That's all. And my habits like meditation, prayer, taking my vitamins, working out every day, lifting, whatever. And then at the end of the day, journaling, all those things are spread out across the day, throughout the day. So it's like I know what to do in between the day.
It's so amazing. So what you're saying is it wasn't just an overnight thing. This is a work in progress. And then you've probably had to intentionally cut out a lot of things that maybe weren't leading you towards your best self and your best goals, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Even people sometimes like TV shows, things like that. There's always a sacrifice, right? And a cost to getting to where you want to go. Can you talk a little bit about that? And maybe, because again, at 16, I was just going to looking for the next party to go to and things like this, so I'm sure there's some sacrifice and level of that with you, right?
Yeah, in the beginning I would say some of the sacrifices that come to mind are like friends, like some friends that I've had to cut off that I still don't talk to. Some friends have stuck with me and I still hang out with them, like we're cool. But like some friends who I know a couple people who would be doing drugs and drinking alcohol, smoking weed, going to parties and things like that. And you're 14 years old. Like I don't want to judge anybody, but you're 14 years old. And that's just not the type of person I was, and it's not the type of energy. I started to like not attract that anymore. So we started to push away from each other. And I started to attract better people into my life. People who I didn't think that there were better teenagers out there in this city, but I found them, and they're amazing people and I love to be around them. And so it was some friends, and also being like, I don't know if this considered like an actual sacrifice that a lot of people would think of, but like having to let go of my ego. Because the thing is like when you're first getting out in this space and like you're trying to build a brand and you're trying to put your face out there and you're trying to learn from people, you have to let go of your ego. So many people would be so much further if they let go of their ego. They thought if they just picked up a book, if they paid for a consultation call to learn from someone, if they if they just put their face out there and didn't worry how they look. My hair's a mess right now and I'm on this call with you, it's fine. like I put like it's on your ego sometimes. Like I used to be so camera shy and I used to hate it, and people now they're shocked when I tell them that if 14-year-old me were sitting with you right now, I'd be stuttering like crazy. I'd be so nervous. But it's I got used to it. It's just like letting go of your ego. You have to let go of your ego, drop your ego for your content and not the other way around.
That was a tweet. I love that the other day. That was a beautiful one. You have so many that just stopped me in my tracks. I'm like, that was amazing. And I agree with you 100%, where I think for a long time I was afraid of what other people are going to think. What are the, are these people going to, and then I just got to the point where I don't really care. If I like myself and I'm going to push myself to these, I'm going to, like you said, attract the right people around me. And then everybody in my corner now, you're not allowed in my corner if you're not rooting for me. If I'm not rooting for you, I want my life to just be curated around abundance and all of us building what we want to build and doing the best that we can do. Right. That's an amazing thing. Well, can I shift gears here a second? Can you tell me the story of Instagram and kind of how this came to be? I know you had a big rise and then kind of a downfall and then kind of, built all the way back up and then some.
Yeah, so this story of Instagram. So when I was in the 8th grade, I was selling candy in my middle school, and then high school comes.
You are the greatest. I love this.
So there's a little story with that too. Can I tell you that first?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so I saw this other girl selling candy in school, and I'm like, I want to sell candy too, but 'cause it's capitalism. Like I want I want to sell candy too. But I wanted to be nice and not like take away her customers because it's like there's not many kids in the school anyway. So I was asking her, and I showed her a plan. I went home that day. I wrote on my whiteboard like all these different like sales metrics and little things like if you bought this much candy, you'd make this much. If I contributed, you'd make this much. If we sold this many a day, whatever. And I came to her the next day and I said, I could really help you out. I could really like make you more money. We could do this together. And she rejected me. So I took my friend and me and her started a little candy business together and we overtook hers, the other girl.
An option to join you first, and I love this. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, then the summer comes, high school begins, and I'm like, how am I gonna make money now? So one of my teachers was like, why don't you start a social media? Just start a social media. Because I was talking about like a physical business, maybe like, people do car washes or lawn mowing, like as teenagers. So I started an Instagram, and my parents didn't want me to do anything physical, like go and sell like, car washing and stuff like that. They didn't want me to do that stuff because they think that's like a little low for who I am. I don't know. That's just what they thought. So they try to like guide me away from that. So I just started putting content out on Instagram, Twitter, not Twitter yet, but Instagram, LinkedIn, and a podcast. I was just putting out content every single day, like blog posts, infographics, all that sort of stuff. Then I started to blow up really well on Instagram first. And I dropped LinkedIn because I didn't really like enjoy it or find any purpose with it. And I continued the podcast. And then as I started to grow with my Instagram, during that whole time I'm building a brand for a whole year and a half, I was also for that whole year and a half, I was helping people for free. I was finding clients on LinkedIn, Instagram, and even people were coming from my podcast, and I was helping people for free, consultations, social media content planning, all that sort of different things. Like I was creating graphic design people for like logos and content itself for free for an entire year and a half, gaining as many testimonials and social proof as possible. I started to blow up on these platforms, and then I decided to release my first digital product in August 2020. It got $45,000 in sales. I lost all that money. And then I sat down with myself exactly where I'm sitting right now at this desk. And I sat down with myself and I'm like, I'm going to make something. 2021 is going to be the year that I start propelling myself towards six figures. And I don't let this $45,000 loss get to me. So that's what I did. And then 5 months later, I made $15,000 in a month. And then from there, I just started to snowball.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so amazing. So people can book consultation calls with you. They can book you to do different, like kind of help guide them through that too, that whole process, correct?
Yeah.
It's so amazing. I'm going to link everything that Niti does down below at the bottom of this podcast. I'm going to link her Twitter, her Instagram, her consultation, all of everything she does, because everybody needs to check you out. I really feel like you're going to have a billion+ person impact over the next few years. I know that deep in my soul, and I can't wait.
I'm excited for that. That's always been on my list. Is the top of my list has been impact. Impact and influence will bring in income, but you got to bring the impact first.
That's right. You're exactly right. And I love what you said too, because I think so many people starting out, they give it the old college try. Whether that's getting in shape, whether that's starting a business, a brand, whatever it is, they get really motivated for a few weeks. They don't make any money at it, and then they quit. Or they only lost 2 pounds and they quit, and it's like, look, you went for a year and a half without making anything. When I started coaching and building on social, I didn't make a penny for about a year, nothing. You, like you said, you're gaining experience, you're honing your craft, getting better, getting testimonials. And for you to have that long-term vision is such a beautiful thing. And I admire that so much with you.
Well, thank you so much. And it's true too, because I feel like it wasn't only just starting this business and my grades, but also before, in between like getting good grades and starting the business, I was always like an avid reader, and I was always like with business personal development books, I would enjoy it so much. And also I was always into fitness, like working out and stuff, because I felt like during like the seventh grade into 8th grade, I felt like I was a little chubby. I wasn't too big, but I was a little chubby. and I was like, I gotta lose weight. Like I was a very self-aware person. I always never had an ego. I was always like, okay, I'm gonna lose weight. And so seventh grade into eighth grade, developing that habit of working out consistently has changed my life. Like that lifting and all that sort of stuff, like I'm good now, like with my health and everything. Like I feel so good every day. I just, it's different, and that carries over into my business and work life, because I could push myself that way. I feel like I could push myself, mentally as well.
I definitely agree with that. I think weightlifting and health in general is kind of a gateway drug to self-improvement. That's Fit Founder said that. I think he coined that phrase. I say that on a lot of podcasts, but I definitely agree. I feel like it's kind of a mind, body, soul thing. When you're just trying to get better each day, you read and better your mind, you meditate, better your soul, you pray, you go to the gym, you better your body. Those things all kind of work in unison, I feel like. And it is, if you're able to push that hard weight in the morning and overcome that challenge, well, it doesn't look that daunting to overcome that other challenge that you're going to face later in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an awesome thing. Well, can I ask you what kind of your future plans are? Have you thought about this at all? Like, do you think college is in the future? I mean, if I own Harvard right now, I'm like begging you to come there. Like I feel like you're going to do such big things. I'm sure people are starting to knock at your door.
Yeah, so for the longest time, I was like, I'm not sure if I want to go to college, but I do want to go to college. I feel like that would be the route for me. Now, like being a junior in high school, like now I'm going to have to start looking at colleges and things like that. I do see myself going to college. I see myself getting an MBA, a degree in business. I see myself like trying to get a degree and build a business at the same time. Like I feel like if I was just building the business, I feel like I would want an education with it, even though if you hear people all over Twitter say, college is useless and stuff, but I feel like I can gain the network, and you'll learn a lot through that experience. You're not only just going to go there, sit in class and nothing. No, college is going to be an experience. It'll be something that's just my opinion and what I feel like would help me shape me into an even better person. It's like, if I'm educated,
like it doesn't hurt to be around more like-minded people that are also seeking the same thing. People that die on that hill of like college is a scam. I don't understand that. Like maybe it was a scam for you because you didn't get a great degree, or I mean, it's like it's different paths for everybody, and for you to say, hey, this is going to be my path. I think that's awesome. I feel like don't even say I'm going to start a business. Businesses. I feel like I'm going to see you on Shark Tank 10 years from now. That's what I'm going to do. It's like, you're going to be in that chair, like deciding what businesses you're going to invest in, because you're going to have taken over so much by then, I think.
Imagine.
It's a pretty incredible story. So you have a younger sister too. Does she kind of follow in your footsteps? Do you kind of mentor her a little bit, or how's that work out?
Yeah, she is a freshman in high school. She just started high school, so me 2 years ago. She's very studious. She focused on her studies mostly. I think we're like separate. Like we're like kind of different. We're different people. Like I feel like she's more artistic and like study focused, study oriented. Like she's mainly to her books and stuff like that. She has a lot of friends and she's very social, but like that's her main focus and priority right now. Meanwhile, me, I got a lot of things going on all at once. Yeah. So that's the two difference between us. But ever since she was little, I always tried to guide her to do better in school and stuff the same way I did. And like she had a conversation with me just the other day, and it made me so happy and proud of her, because she told me that. Because the thing is like when my parents were financially struggling, they sent my sister to India with our family for the first 5 years of her life growing up. So I never met my sister for my first 5 years or 7 years. And she never met us for her first 5 years. So when she came here, she was a whole different person. She wasn't like study oriented, nothing. But when she saw how well I was doing, she followed what I was doing. Like I led by example without even knowing it. She ended up telling me all this, like, if you weren't doing well in school, Niti, I wouldn't be like who I am right now. Like I wouldn't be doing well. And that made me so proud, not only of her, but myself as well, because I'm like, if I didn't do what I did, her life would be on a whole different trajectory.
That's amazing. That's really powerful. And I think that just shows that even when you're not on a camera or whatever you are, I always say you're impacting people wherever you're at, even just the way you treat people out everyday life, you can speak life into people, you can energize their day, you can show a better way. And that's impactful. Do you think that's a part of the reason why you're so driven too? Because you kind of grew up in that situation of maybe, hey, I see my parents working so hard and kind of wheels spinning. Do you think that's where a lot of your drive comes from?
Definitely. And I always wanted to see people. I think that's also where my drives come from, my drive and my passion, and passion as well, because I always wanted to, it was always in me to want to see people smile and happy. And I feel like money will help bring experiences like that. Because when I saw my parents start to do better hardworking, and they started to do better financially, we started to have better experiences. I never used to have this own room. Like, I used to live in this small apartment with 6 other people.
Mm.
These little things can bring an extra smile on your face, you know? So like, even like you said, like the little things that can energize other people. When I go to high school every day, like even the janitors, people don't mind them, but I say I make friends with some of the janitors over there. Like
Of course, yeah. Darren was my high school janitor. I still talk to him, man. He's a great guy.
yeah.
He might watch this. Shout out to you, Darren. I love you, buddy. He's a great guy, man. Yeah, I feel that same way. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and taking the time. Do you have any tips? Because I always think of it now, back, it seems like I can blink and I was your age yesterday. But then for any, people that might be watching this that have young children growing up or anything, is there any advice you could maybe give them, or something that your parents imparted onto you, or something that you've kind of held on to that you've used to fuel you?
Um,
Best piece of advice in general.
best piece of advice in general. I would probably say to just do good, like just be kind, do good, and be you. Because the thing is like, whatever you have your heart driving you, like with me, it was always, you want to build something, go build it. Even if people around me thought I was weird for always studying, or always thought I was, what are you building, why are you on social media, what are you posting, now they come back to me and say, wow, you've built so much, oh my god, like how'd you do this? Well, if you listen to me when I was in 5th grade telling you to study harder too, you would be where I'm at as well, right? So just do your thing and do you, and whatever your mind is telling you, do it. Because this is so cliche, but you only live once. And if you want to go, like, if you want to go, uh, run away to the mountains for a week, go do it. Like that's my motto. Like, really, that's how I live, is go do whatever you got to do, because you might not wake up tomorrow morning. Like,
Every day is a true gift, right? And I love how you said that. It's like day one, they'll say like, you're crazy, that's never going to work. Day 100, yeah, I mean, it's kind of working, but not really. Hey, day 1,000, can you teach me? How'd you do it? What's your secret? Like, you get that a lot. I'm sure you're going to get that a lot. Well, at the end of every podcast, I always do what I call the 5 rapid fire questions. So I'm going to fire off 5 questions for you. Just give me the first thing that comes to mind. All right, Nitty. What's your favorite subject to study in school? And how much do you think what you're currently studying in school like applies to your business and what you're doing?
yeah, so my favorite subject to study, it's always been math. Like, I always love, because it's easy. It comes easy to me because it's all systems. And I feel like, counting money, counting numbers, same thing. But yeah, I feel like just being able to follow systems and do that is cool.
Nice. That's awesome. My daughter's 6, and I'm happy to say she's learning. My wife has her in some junior high level math stuff already.
Oh my God.
Really working hard at her with math. She seems to have a math brain
Wow.
too. So working very hard with her on that too. So this
You
gives
guys
me
are amazing
validation. I love
parents.
hearing you say that. What's your all-time favorite book?
All-time favorite book. I I don't know if I have a favorite, but there are a couple that come to mind. The first ever personal development book I ever read, that's the first thing that came to mind, was The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I think by Stephen Covey. The reason that's probably the first thing that came to mind, because it was the first book I ever read or got into. My dad gave it to me because his manager gave it to him and he didn't want to read it.
Did he have you do a book report on it and then report back to him?
He does that often. His manager gives him books and he's like, can you read it to me and give me a summary?
That is so awesome. That's really, I'm gonna take that tip from your dad. When my daughter gets a little older, I'm gonna outsource some of this stuff to her. Hey, I really want to know all about this book. Can you take a week and give me the cliff notes? That's awesome. What's the first thing you sold online?
The first thing I sold online was a $7 Canva tutorial. Someone wanted to know how to use Canva. I recorded a little screen share and sent it to them for $7.
I need to purchase that from you. I'm actually going to do that because I struggle with Canva so much. That Canva drives me insane. I have the hardest time with that. So I'm going to purchase that from you after the podcast. All right.
Look, I can give it to you for free. I got a nice video I can give to you. Don't worry about it.
Do the friend discount. I'm not all about that. I'm going to pay the $7 for it. What's the person that's inspired you the most growing up?
Probably like I've never had like any movie characters or anything like that. It's always been like, I'd probably say my mom, because she's always been a hustler and she always works and she's always positive. That's the number one thing about my mom. All hell could break loose. We could lose this house. We could be on the streets, whatever. And she'll be like, it's okay. We live another day. Like, she's so positive. It's unbelievable. I love my mom.
That's so awesome. I think there's so much power behind positivity too. You can reframe any situation and just think like, no matter how bad it is, it can always get worse. We always have blessings. We always, I start every day with a gratitude journal, and I literally just tell myself how blessed I am to just wake up in a house with warm water, to have a car to drive. Like, people all over the world that would kill for things like that, and just the little things we take for granted every day. I think there's a lot of power behind feeling a lot of gratitude. I know you tweet about gratitude a lot too.
Yeah.
So what's next? Do you have any like new goals that you're setting? We're coming up on the new year. Like, do you kind of have a 2022 roadmap for where you're going to go, or some kind of vision you can share with us?
Yeah, so I'm actually in the process of working on like a whole roadmap for myself for 2022 this weekend. But something I'm working on, sort of behind the scenes, not a lot of people are seeing this, and I've been like low key with my content lately, is I'm building this Telegram group for a reason. I'm starting this like big coaching program offer, and I'm working with these two other people, and they're trying to help me bring me to six figures as soon as possible. So it's going to be this huge start to the new year, and it's going to be great January, February, March time. But that's really what I'm working on, and lots of content is what I got prepped for 2022. Is like, that's my goal, is impact and making people like change their lives really, like through my content every single day. Like
that's so amazing. I've seen your Telegram group already has almost, I think, 700 people signed up. Is that right? Yeah, it's so awesome. I could just fist pump the whole conversation. You are so awesome, Niti. You are such an inspiration, and you're somebody that I've reached out to right away. When we first connected on social, and when you get to my age, and you have a daughter who's 6, and you think about a lot of the things you hope that she focuses on, right? Like health and getting good grades and surrounding herself with a great network of people and having gratitude, all these things. You exude all these things. And so I admire you from the depths of my soul. And I really appreciate you coming on and sharing with us. And I'm super grateful for you.
That's so sweet. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And everything that you've said as well, like, I know you're an amazing parent, and what your kids are gonna be amazing. Like, I just know. You exude that energy, you're gonna get that back as well.
That's the most fun job in the world, being a dad. It's a lot of fun. Well, I thank you so much for coming on again. I'm going to link all of Niti's stuff below. Please check out her Telegram channel. Please check out all of the things she's doing. She does amazing stuff. Follow her on social. And thanks again for joining in Tyromper's No Limit podcast. If you get any value out of this content, please like and subscribe to the channel. That helps us out a lot. We're having some more amazing guests on after the first of the year. And thank you so much again for coming on. You guys go bless somebody today. Have a great day today.